other words, Revelation 6:14 through 17 says the great day of His wrath is come. Jesus has come. Who's going to be able to stand? Revelation 7:1 through 8 says there was a group who were sealed before this, who will be able to stand. The second place where the 144,000 appear is in Revelation chapter 14, verses 1 through 5. This is the very chapter where we have the three angels' messages. In fact, verse 5 is the verse that is immediately before the beginning of the three angels' messages in verse 6. Now, in chapter 13, going back to the previous chapter, chapter 13, verses 11 through 18, we find a description of the final crisis that's going to overtake this world. It's a crisis over the beast, his image, his mark, and the number of his name. In fact, we're told there in Revelation 13:11 through 18, that a death decree is going to be given against those who are faithful to God. That's Revelation 13:11 to 18. The very next chapter, Revelation 14:1 through 5, describes the group that were victorious over the beast, his image, and his mark, and the number of his name. They're standing on Mount Zion with the Lamb. In other words, they're victorious. So you have a sequence. Revelation 13:11 through 18 describes the end time crisis over the beast, his image, his mark, and the number of his name. A death decree is given against those who don't worship the beast and his image. But chapter 14:1 through 5 explains that there was a group that was faithful to God and will stand on Mount Zion with the Lamb. The third place that we find the 144,000 is in Revelation 15 and verses 2 through 4. Once again, we have to go to the previous chapter in order to understand Revelation 15, 2 through 4. Because Revelation 15, 2 through 4 is the climax of what comes before. Now let me give you a little bit of the context. Revelation 14, 6 through 12 presents the three angels' messages. Immediately after the three angels' messages in verses 6 through 12, in verse 14, we find that the whole human race has been divided into two groups. Those who have the seal of God, those who have the mark of the beast. Those who are spoken of as the harvest of the earth, and those who are spoken of as the grapes. The righteous and the wicked have been separated by the three angels' messages. Then, that's verses 14 through 17, verses 18 through 20, we find the wicked gathering around Jerusalem, that is gathering around God's people with the intention of destroying them. But then we find that some beings that come riding horses, they trample on the winepress. Chapter 19 explains that those who are riding these horses that trample upon the wicked symbolically represent Jesus Christ and His angels who come to deliver His people from the death decree. And then, in chapter 15, verses 2 through 4, you have a group that were victorious over the beast, over his image, over his mark, and over the number of his name. So the 144,000, there is no doubt whatsoever, are those who will be alive during the time when the trial over the beast, his image, his mark, and the number of his name is in play. They will be alive when Jesus comes in power and glory, according to the context that we've clearly studied from the book of Revelation. Now we need to take a closer look at this group.